where's the tangibility? Can you work in tangibility a little bit? And I
Says
don't
I'm
mean
live.
necessarily haptics. I mean, Habershi over at V11 Digital Media, he asked people, how do you communicate through?
I mean, depending upon bandwidth, it may be a little slow, or maybe a little chunky.
What is the special affordance of objects?
And I'll move myself to Wi-Fi.
A good example is
I think I'm probably on my cell right now.
A student may want 3 bottles, and the bottles, if you
I don't know.
open up one of the bottles,
Have access to our Wi-Fi?
I don't know, but I'll drop us if we.
You open all 3 and make some kind of like
So.
rhythm, little rhythm song thing. Anyway, and you hear it, and you're like, where is this sound coming from? And you realize it's because you open and close the bottles. So that's a cool augmentation, and augmented reality.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go sit up there then.
I'm wearing shoes. That's augmented.
Find me if you need me.
Down off the sidewalk and I walked in here, right? So everything, think about that augmentation and think about what is it that's really helping me get make this story, make this audio, make this audio-visual experience.
He shared it, or he's going to share it.
With tech. So another tangible thing that I gravitate towards is chocolate. Actually, at ACT this year, they're teaching an ethnography of chocolate, and there are about 5 different old chocolate shops over there in Cambridge, and half of them have closed. The Necco factory, Squirrel Nut Zipper used to be a chocolate, by the way. That. Anyway, you can walk by those buildings and not even know with a story, right? So that's yet another good example, right? I'm walking by. History is a great, surfacing history and historical elements in a place and space. When the person is there is a good example of a proper augmented reality experience. Like, I'm in the place and space. I'm likely, if I've downloaded the app, I'm probably interested in getting the information. So, when did this close? When did this chocolate company merge with this other chocolate company? That's interesting, if you're out there looking. This also sort of shows another idea about augmented reality where, loosely, I mean it's about the art because it's kind of, on the left is like the top-down approach, like what chocolates are these and am I gonna like them? I mean, I don't, you can't really tell me that what I'm gonna like because I've got to eat it to try. And what I usually do is I take a bite out of it and if I don't like it, I put it back. But you also don't know how I might find my way through that box, right? Like I'm gonna start with the caramels and then move around. So the wayfinding's on the right. And another, again, the sort of the combination of a top-down, bottom-up approach is useful for something like augmented reality because it is street view in your body, you're moving through space. And again, because if you're telling a story, if you're telling a documentary the story, or if you're trying to make a really beautiful art installation, you want to think about what you're saying about the body. This is a VR doodler. You can use it in AR if you draw and then you reflect it off of a cardboard, an AR cardboard. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because I felt there was something special about the body, like out to Damascus and then they flew over to the U.S. Anyway, I think it's a good example of how things could be different if you really pull in tactile experiences or semi-sensory experiences and you focus on the nuance of the experience. Let's see what else we got. And I just thought, wow, like I just love this tile and and it's goofy and it's cute and I'm like, where is that? In Minecraft. Like, I love those little pigs, the pigs that run around on I do the create setting. I don't care about killing the creepers, but they are creepy. But I'm like, oh, look, I'm a little pig there. But anyway, so there's where's the mess? Where's the fudge? Where's the mud? Where's the chocolate? Where's the iteration? Where is that stuff? And no, it does. Technology doesn't have to be everything to everyone, but I want you to think about it. Think about what you're doing, because If you just expect everybody to stack things up like Minecraft, that means you are predicating your experience on sharp and rigid lines, square right angles, things that fit in boxes, things that would ignore and not take account for the robot that my nephew made on the right. This is with string. String, you know, it folds and it goes from one place to the next and comes back. And where is our tech that can do that? I guess is my question. Where is the wayfinding in our augmented experiences, both for, you know, locative wise, but also just in terms of your experience overall. So that's it. That's me, and you can find me on any of those sections, and I, you know, or read my stuff. Would love to hear your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. By the way, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. By the way, so my name is Yao. I am a producer, composer, and sound designer. I'm also a Berklee recent grad, so it feels really nice to be back. So my first encounter with VR was rather random. I was shopping at the Crew. And that day, Microsoft was doing a demo of their HTC Vive. I didn't think too much, and I signed up for a slot. I remember it was this underwater experience, and I remember being just really dazzled by the imagery. And I knew immediately this was special, something that I wanted to get involved with. And I also knew immediately there was something off about the audio. First of all, it was in stereo. So as I turned around, it followed my head. Not something you want in VR. And the other thing was, halfway through the experience, there was this big whale that came to say hi, and because it was in stereo, you know, the sound felt like it came from here. I turn my head, I look this way, nothing, and then I get startled by this big whale coming my way. What I would have wanted is to have been able to localize where it was and see it coming to me without being, you know, startled or scared by the experience. So after that night, I went to do a lot of research about spatial audio. I knew this was an emerging field, and to see the demand that there is in this space, it got me thinking, and it got me wanting to start in my own company called Ictus. We provide virtual reality content with a special focus on spatial audio. So all of our work comes from the audio seed, and then our visuals and all the other elements come afterwards, after the audio is done. So that's kind of our unique perspective into this game, and it's been a blast since. I sort of right now at this moment want to focus on specifically how to use the spatial audio technology as a tool for music composition and music production. Now that we have all this 360 space, what do we do with the instruments? Is there something, you know, can they travel in the ways that never were seen before or heard before? And that's been something that I've been exploring. And I would like to show you the first experience that we've produced called Unraveled. That's exactly it, an immersive music experience. We've been featured at 9 films festivals since, and this was actually done as part of my EPD senior portfolio here at Berklee. So I want to show you a quick video just of how it was made, and if I may find it here. Today we have the opportunity to experiment with ambisonic recordings, which allows us to record any 360 sound field. We are trying to create an immersive 360 audio and visual experience. I think it's an incredibly exciting time More and more people talk about VR and spatial audio, but there's no standard just yet. There's a lot of experimentation and new things, new gadgets, new gears coming up every day, and I hope that this project just shows the endless possibility of experimenting with audio formats.
In addition to there being all kinds of excitement and you as a listener being immersed in this new way of experiencing sound, being placed right in the middle of the piece, that the piece itself at its very heart is so beautiful.
The reason why we decided to go with Unity was because we wanted something a little bit more on the abstract side of things. We didn't really want just the footage of 360 video. Unity is a great place to create a world where you get the feelings that you get in the composition.
This project that she's doing is remarkable for our department, and it's also remarkable for the college and maybe for the industry and the world right now. That's our hope.
Musically, we were inspired by Eric Whitacre, and we tried to achieve that with a smaller, medium-sized ensemble by overdubbing. So we're recording the same phrases multiple times, but in a circle. If this is the ensemble and the mic would be here, we're recording multiple times at different points, and then we're overlaying them to be able to form an ensemble size almost 8 times as large. I want my listener to be surrounded by all these elements, the choir, the strings, and the electronic elements. The idea is that you feel immersed. We have to write it to the medium. This is a spatialized audio production.
Very nice.
Thank you. Great. So let's get to the meat of this conversation. I want to talk about what is spatial audio. So spatial audio allows you, the creator, to place sound all around the user. And unlike traditional audio formats such as stereo or surround, this one will respond to the head rotation in sync with the video. You may ask, why does it even matter? So, of course it matters. When you're trying to convince the brain that something is real, the first line of realism is the audio. The brain processes sound information much faster than visual information. So not only does it immerse your audience, it also anchors us into that space. Before we get too technical, I actually kind of want to take a step back and talk about how we hear. I know time is of the essence today, so I'm going to go really quick. There's sound waves. They go to your ears, travel through a few layers to get into the inner ear, where there are thousands of tiny hairs that will translate this vibration into an electrical signal that is then sent to your brain. Easy enough. But through doing this project, through talking to experts in the fields, through reading, I've discovered a few very interesting auditory phenomena that I want to share with you today. So fun fact number 1 is that all of us hear sounds just slightly differently from one another. Even if all external factors are constant, we all hear differently. And that is because of our physical anatomy. So how tall you are, the shape of your head to torso ratio, maybe the shape of your ears, your nasal cavity for resonance, all of this will influence how you uniquely hear sound. Second fact is that we are horrible at what we call localization, and that's our ability to understand where sound is coming from around us. So textbook version is that we localize higher frequencies better than lower frequencies. And that is true. That is absolutely true. However, I'm sure this happened to everyone in the room when you lose your phone, you ask your friend to call it, and that phone ringtone has just all the right elements. It's emitting constantly, first of all, has all the right frequencies, and somehow you just can't find it right away. And it still takes some time, and that's because evolution and many other reasons, we just are not so good at localization to begin with. We don't hear up and down as well as front and back, as well as laterally. And thirdly, we rely a lot on psychological factors and familiarity to localize. One fun experimentation that I had with Unravel was, I remember I wanted my cello to be right in front of me, 45 angle up, 2 meters, and I was like, let's try it, this is going to be amazing. And then I ended up hearing it as coming right in front of me. And I tried that with many of my friends, they all said the same thing. And if I swap that sound with something more familiar, like an airplane, then you'll hear it right where it was supposed to be, even higher, just because your brain can't imagine a plane coming to you. So that was very interesting. I'm reading a lot more about the subject. I'm not claiming to know more, but I think it's extremely fascinating, and I want to know a whole lot more, and hopefully I will soon. Okay, now let's get technical. I want to talk about ambisonics. So this is a technology that captures 360 sound field. It exists since the 1970s, but it has only really been made popular in recent years because of the rise of VR and spatial audio. We measure the fidelity of ambisonics based on how many channels it has. So as the number of channels increases, what we call ambisonic order also increases. So first order would have 4 channels, second, 9, third, 16, and so forth.
Can I ask you to sit on the
A
other side?
good rule of thumb would be you want to always work with as many channels as possible, because it will contain dramatically more directional information, and you'll have an easier time localizing sound sources. So you'd think that at least third order ambisonic must be the most popular option out there. It's actually not the case. First order is kind of a standard currently. That's because of technical limitations currently. And right now, first order is compatible with YouTube and Facebook. So if you have a project like mine, I chose YouTube as a distribution because we want easy access. I want to be able to see a client and say, hey, that's what we did. And instead of saying you have to come back home with me and show it to you on the Oculus Rift, so you don't want that. And then you choose this platform, you have to sacrifice the audio quality, maybe even, and as well as the system of spatial accuracy for these distribution platforms. So, but I'm very excited. I think that in the future it's going to just become better and better. Already Facebook has second order ambisonic compatibility. So I'm really looking forward to the future. Okay, so there are many, many microphones out there that can capture ambisonics. These 4 are the ones that I've had a chance to interact with. On the far left over here, we have the Zoom H2N. That's the cheapest option out there. I think it's only $150. It's also a multi-purpose microphone. You can use it for field recordings. Journalists love this microphone. I really enjoyed it. It was a learning tool. However, just when it comes to professional work, I felt like the quality just didn't cut it. So moving forward, we have the Core Tetra. If you count all the capsules, you can tell this is a first order ambisonic microphone. I used it with a combination of the Sennheiser and the Zillia for Unraveled, and we actually heard a few artifacts from this one. So this one was game over pretty quickly for us. But still, I would say it's one of the first few ambisonics microphone out there, and I will still give it a lot of credits. Next to it is one of my favorites, the Sennheiser Ambio, also first order with the 4 capsules. Very high quality audio. Loved using it, would recommend. Slightly more expensive, $1,600. But for all of you who are a little like me, students, recent grad-ish, the Zillia microphone might be your best option. It has 19 capsules, so it allows you to capture up to third order ambisonics. And it also is used for other purposes. You can look it up on our website. It's a great portable microphone, only at $750. So I think it's a steal. Would highly recommend. Would highly recommend. Okay, so how does it all work? You capture with the microphones, you capture the ambisonics. How does it all work? You're first going to get this raw, unusable signal that we call the A format, sorry. And then you have to convert it using either their software or maybe some plugins to what we call the B format. And what that does is that it gives you a very specific channel configuration of W, X, Y, Z. Has to be in an exact order. And they represent the specific sound direction. So W being omni, so the whole sound sphere. And then you will have X being front and back, C being up and down, and Y being left and right. There's many reasons why you would want to use ambisonics. First of all, it's highly flexible. You can record it and then decode it into all the different formats, such as stereo, binaural, and surround. actually Academy Award winning sound designer Mark Mangini, who's worked on Blade Runner, Fifth Element, what else, Mad Max. He's been using ambisonics for his film mixes, and when I actually had an honor to meet him, he was telling me all about it, and he's hoping that in the future cinema could also be head trackable. Just like a little parenthesis. And then we have also the ability to provide height information that was always missing in our current recording modes. It rotates smoothly, it's just what we want for VR. And finally, it's infinitely extensible in terms of fidelity. Okay, we talked about 4 channels, 9 channels, 16 channels. How does that matter for our ears? How can we really distinguish that? That's when another technology comes in that's called the binaural audio. What we need to do is take those channels that we mentioned and translate it to a format that we understand, which is binaural, because that's the reproduction of sound the way human ears hear it. Okay, sorry, my time is out. I'm just gonna go real quick. The HRTF is very important to the binaural audio. What that is, head relay transfer function, is exactly what I talked about a little bit earlier, our physical anatomy. So these are algorithms that is gonna sort of fake and mimic how sound gets filtered when it approaches you in whatever VR environment you're in. Another element very important to binaural is the ILD and ITD, interaural level and time differences. In layman's term, it's just how fast and how loud it comes to each of your ears. There's this slight difference that's gonna help you tell where sound is coming from all around you. So in summary, we learned that sound is crucial to bring realism to VR. We talked about ambisonics being the capture of 360 sound field, binaural being the technology that imitates human hearing, and then drumroll, this is what spatial audio is. Spatial audio is the real-time binaural rendering of ambisonics as you track the head movement. All right, so please feel free to contact me. I'll be demoing at the end. This is our website. Please feel free to write to us, and I'd be happy to talk with any of you, and I'd love to hear what you're up to. Thank you very much.
There are like 5.
Okay.
I'm just gonna announce that this is gonna be the last talk before the break. We're gonna have food and demos upstairs, so stay tuned.
Here we go. I don't know which one.
Okay, never mind. Hi everyone. My name is Kunal Khona. I'm an Android AR VR developer at Wayfair, and I'm gonna quickly talk about AR VR in the world of e-commerce and why is it important. So before we start into all the important stuff, let's reevaluate the current scenario of AR and the real world. I'm just gonna let you absorb that. So everyone here knows the differences between virtual reality and augmented reality. But the key thing for me is, in virtual reality, the screen becomes your world eventually. Whereas in augmented reality, the entire world will become your screen. So this is the key difference I look at while approaching both virtual reality and augmented reality. So for e-commerce, this is what a normal online shopping experience looks like. You have photos, videos, text, all of this giving you information about a certain product. So this is generally categorized as what you see is what you're going to get. But there's no relevance to how the actual product is going to be in your real world. You have to use your imagination to determine if that chair would be this small, that small, how much big, small. So all of those problems in an online shopping experience are solved by AR or VR. So an AR or VR in e-commerce can provide you with what you experience is what you get, rather than just what you see on a 2D screen. So first, let's talk about VR in e-commerce. VR in e-commerce is particularly useful because you can have a 360-degree, fully immersive experience that can mimic a real physical storefront. That storefront can be personalized to a particular user because it's not a real storefront. You have real scale and size of your products that you're going to be interacting with. You have real world interactions. You can maybe use a controller to tap a product and feel the haptics out of it. So just rather than just looking at a 2D computer screen and imagining, oh, this is how that couch might be. So you can use VR both for either an inspirational way or to design stuff. So this is an example of how we at Wayfair use VR on Oculus Rift to design a patio playground with real Wayfair products that you can actually purchase after you're done designing with it. So this is a whole 360-degree view of that. And since it's a virtual thing, you can play around with it and add more fun elements to your experience, wherein a drone will come and deliver your furniture, you can move it around, rearrange it, and once you like that experience, you can actually purchase those products from the Wayfair site. Now, that is more on the inspirational side of VR. A lot of the e-commerce companies like Alibaba actually have mimicked a whole 360 shopping experience, wherein you can talk to a salesman, go around the floor in 3DOF or 6DOF, try out different products, walk around the store, look around for whatever you like, and just purchase it if you like something, or from that experience itself. So this is how you can use VR in e-commerce to go beyond that 2D screen into a 360-degree immersive world environment. Now, let's quickly talk about AR in e-commerce. So VR is still evolving, and not everyone who's going to purchase your products is going to have a VR headset. But AR, on the other hand, is very much available right now. You can use AR to allow the user to view their products in their own context. This context could literally mean their real own world. Since these are virtual 3D models, you can put a lot of personalizations into it. You can solve problems like sizes, designer nuances, and overcome that trust gap of looking something on a screen and buying it. So the entire effort for AR in e-commerce is to make an experiential retail US standard that's basically you experience a product before you buy it, rather than just see a product before you buy it. And you can reach out to millions of users today, right now. So I'm going to talk a bit about more on that. Augmented reality is specifically big because of mobile. If you want to reach thousands and thousands of customers, there's one thing common that everyone already has. That's your mobile phone. So if you want to approach augmented reality, you have to do it through mobile phone today. That way you'll have the entire exposure of the market in your hand. And with AR Core and AR Kit and all those SDKs on Android and iOS, you can actually create augmented reality apps very easily. So this is how that 2D experience would convert into an AR experience. You're searching for the same action chair. But now instead of just judging it by the photos like you usually do, you have a built-in view in room experience that opens up your camera. You can point to your floor and you can place a real scale 3D product in your own environment. So this way you can judge if the product would look perfect with your existing furniture, the size nuances, all of that before purchasing. Shopping for furniture is not the only use case. You can do the same things for clothing. Gap does that with, there's a Gap AR app that lets you select different sizes of products. Or you can, it doesn't even have to be a product itself. You can use the packaging of your product to give out an AR experience. Like you can have a toy box wherein the soldiers walk out of the castle even before opening that box itself. AR is not just for experiencing the product. You can use AR with Snapchat AR ads or Facebook Messenger AR, all of that to just even promote your product. But there are some important challenges in the world of AR today, and one of the most important one is there's not enough 3D content. Everyone wants to do AR, VR, but we have millions of products at Wayfair that we want to sell, but getting all of these products in 3-dimension models is a real challenge that we need to think about. And so what's next? We don't even have to stop at AR, VR. You can use virtual reality. Wayfair is working with Magic Leap to have a virtual reality experience where you can browse for stuff in a mixed reality headset and pop it out of the browser to your real 3D world. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again.
Taking 20 minutes break. There is Indian food here and there is demos upstairs. You should go and check them. Just go up the stairs, down the hall to LC2. You're back in 20 minutes.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you? I have such a crazy schedule today.
I was wondering if you were
Yeah, so I have had a class and then I brought them over.
Oh, so that's like the people who were
Yeah, when there was like a big conference coming out.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this. Somebody was talking about and then I was like, no, like company slash.
Oh, company side.
The last